Hello and welcome back. Today we look at missing people from the West Midlands. The region has witnessed cases ranging from vulnerable teenagers to other long-standing mysteries such as the disappearance of David Spencer and Patrick Warren, known as the Milk Carton Kids. As always in my missing person videos, if you have any information, the contact details are in the description. The first disappearance we look at is that already mentioned, the Milk Carton Kids. On Boxing Day 1996, two young boys from Chelmsley Wood, David Spencer, aged 13, and Patrick Warren, aged 11, left their homes to play outside. They never returned. Their disappearance became one of the most haunting unsolved cases in British history, earning them the nickname Milk Carton Kids, after their faces were featured in a national campaign to raise awareness of missing children. Nearly 3 decades later, the mystery remains unsolved, and the pain endured by the families and community continues to resonate. David and Patrick were best friends, known for roaming around their working-class estate together. On the evening of the 27th of December 1996, Patrick rode his new red Apollo bicycle, a Christmas gift, while David walked beside him. They were last seen just after midnight at a petrol station, where an attendant gave them a packet of biscuits. The boys were reportedly heading towards a shopping centre. Patrick's bicycle was later found abandoned behind the petrol station, but no further trace of the boys was ever discovered. The West Midlands Police initially treated the case as a routine missing persons inquiry, suggesting the boys had simply run away. This assumption delayed critical early investigations. Criminologists and journalists have since criticised the response, arguing that the boys' working-class background may have influenced how seriously their disappearance was taken. Despite appeals from their families and a BBC Crime Watch special, the case remained stagnant for years. In April 1997, the Milk Carton campaign was launched. David and Patrick became the first children in the UK to be featured on milk cartons, which was copied from a campaign in the United States. Their images appeared in 770 Iceland stores, aiming to keep their case in the public eye and generate leads. The campaign was groundbreaking, but it failed to produce any significant breakthroughs. One of the most disturbing aspects of this case involves Brian Lunn Field, who was a convicted ex-offender who lived in the same area at the time of the boys' disappearance. Field had a history of abducting and assaulting children and was known to be driving a white van in the area that night. Despite multiple prison interviews and suspicions from investigators, there was never enough evidence to charge him. Field passed away in prison in February 2024. The boys' families still campaign. In 2021, David's brother led a community search near Solihull Moors Football Club, hoping to uncover new evidence. Though the dig yielded no results, it highlighted the enduring commitment of the families and community to find answers. The case remains open, and the boys are now presumed deceased. The disappearance of David Spencer and Patrick Warren is more than a cold case, it's a reflection of many failures. And unfortunately, there has been no movement in their case. Now on to a case of a teenager who vanished in the early 2000s. On the 25th of July 2002, 19-year-old Gary Tilston vanished from Coventry, West Midlands. His disappearance remains unresolved, but his name continues to appear on missing person appeals. Gary was just entering adulthood when he went missing. He was described as a kind and thoughtful young man. He had his whole life ahead of him. The details surrounding his disappearance are sparse, and no confirmed sightings have been reported since that day. Despite appeals and public awareness efforts, including support from the charity Missing People, no substantial leads have emerged. Our third case is one of the longest running missing person cases in the region. Freda Margaret Green vanished on the 2nd of April 1972 from John Street in Brearley Hill, West Midlands. At just 22 years old, Freda was described as 5'4", with blue eyes, glasses and distinctive operation scars on the insteps of both feet. She worked as a glass polisher for Stephen and Williams and was known to frequent the Nguyen's pub on Dudley Road. Her disappearance remains one of the longest running missing person cases in the region. Despite extensive efforts from West Midlands Police and renewed appeals over the decades, no trace of Freda has ever been found. The photo circulated in appeals shows her at around the age of 15 or 16 years old. On what would have been her 75th birthday in February of this year, police issued a fresh appeal, hoping to jog memories and uncover new leads. They emphasised that even the smallest detail could be crucial. The Missing Person charity also continues to support the case, offering confidential help and encouraging the public to report sightings or share information. Now on to the disappearance of a keen adventurer. Stephen Michael Cole's disappearance in June 1996 remains one of the most perplexing unsolved cases in the West Midlands. An outdoorsman, Stephen vanished shortly after returning from a camping trip from North Wales. Nearly 3 decades later, his fate is still unknown, and his case continues to haunt both investigators and loved ones. On the 23rd of June 1996, Stephen, aged 30, returned to his home on Dora Street in Plec, Warsaw, after a camping holiday with a friend. His friend helped him carry his gear inside. Stephen said he was going out for a drink and appeared to be in good spirits. He failed to meet his parents as planned, prompting concern and eventually a missing person report. His tent and sleeping bag were also missing from his home, suggesting he may have left again, but no evidence supports this theory. Despite extensive searches and appeals, no trace of Stephen has ever been found. West Midlands Police have speculated that he may have returned to North Wales, but no sightings or evidence have confirmed this. The lack of activity, financial, digital or otherwise, since his disappearance deepens the mystery. Now on to one of the more well-known cases. Maria Bernadette Aldridge was just 17 years old when she vanished from Birmingham in 1968. A cadet nurse with a promising future, her disappearance remains one of the oldest unsolved missing cases in the UK. Despite decades of speculation and renewed appeals, Maria's fate is still unknown. Maria was born on the 2nd of October 1950 and was training as a nurse at Dudley Road Hospital, now City Hospital. She lived within the hospital's student accommodation. Originally from Kidderminster, she had moved to Birmingham to pursue her career. She was described as 5'4" tall with light brown wavy hair, brown eyes and glasses. A bright young woman with a quiet determination. The last confirmed contact was on the 28th of February 1968 via a letter to her mother, Mary O'Sullivan. The letter mentioned friends Sue and Evelyn and several other names including Dave Olfrey, Patrick McGill and Jim Taylor. Hospital records showed she was still studying there until at least May 1968. On the 1st of June 1968, a cryptic personal ad appeared in the Birmingham Evening Mail. It said, "Nurse M, meet 7 p.m. 63 bus, Monday, June 3rd. Hope to see you. Simon." Police believe this might be a clue, but it led nowhere. A man named Paul, or John Go, believed to be Maria's boyfriend, visited her family to say she had disappeared. He was never seen again. When Maria's mother and sister visited the hospital, the matron handed over Maria's belongings without explanation. The assumption at the time was that Maria had run away, but no confirmed sightings, financial activity or communication ever surfaced. A letter found decades later reignited interest but yielded no breakthroughs. A case now of someone who was reported missing years after he was last seen. At the time of his disappearance, Terrence was 61 years old, living in the Camp Hill area of Birmingham. He was known to frequent areas across the West Midlands, including Wolverhampton and Sandwell. He is described as 5'4" tall, of a slim build with blue eyes and grey collar-length hair. He also had distinctive tattoos on his arms, hands and chest. In 1999, Terrence was last seen in Digbeth. In 2001, he had his final known contact with family. In 2006, he was officially reported missing 7 years after he was last seen. This delay in reporting added complexity to the investigation, as potential leads and sightings had long gone cold, and his case unfortunately remains cold. Next is a second well-known case. Natalie Putt was 17 years old when she vanished from her home in Lower Gornal, Dudley, on the 1st of September 2003, a young mother to an 11-week-old baby. Her sudden disappearance sparked a decades-long mystery that remains unsolved to this day. Natalie had recently broken up with her partner and was dropped off at home by her new boyfriend. According to her ex, Kevin McCallum, she said she was going out to buy cigarettes, but she never returned. Her mobile phone and handbag were left behind and she was never seen again. Years later, police discovered bin bags in the loft and a t-shirt with 2 small blood spots matching Natalie's DNA. A taxi driver claimed to have seen a man leaving the house with a baby and several black bags a day after she disappeared. Despite these clues, no charges were ever brought and her body was never found. In 2019, a coroner ruled that Natalie likely died at or near her home on the day that she vanished, but the cause of death clearly remains unknown. An open verdict was recorded, and West Midlands police continue to treat the case as a suspected murder. Rebecca Coggins, Natalie's sister, has campaigned to keep her memory alive. Her plea is simple: make it right for that baby, now a grown boy, and for our family. Next is a case of a dad who disappeared in the early 2000s. Andrew Dill, a father of 3 and devoted Birmingham City fan, disappeared without a trace in April 2003. On the 28th of April 2003, Andrew boarded a train to Birmingham New Street. He was 38 years old at the time and lived in Birmingham city centre. Those texts were sent from his phone to family and friends in the following weeks. All contact abruptly ended on the 20th of May 2003, and Andrew was never seen or heard from again. West Midlands police have conducted extensive inquiries, but no definitive leads have emerged. Andrew was believed to have been seen in Soho Road shortly after his train journey. He owned a light blue Nokia 33010 with a dark blue trim and orange network branding, which investigators suspect may have changed hands after his disappearance. There have been no further updates. Now a case with little to no information. Stephen Hadley vanished from Walsall, West Midlands on the 20th of September 2006 at the age of 26. Despite extensive efforts by West Midlands police, including canal searches in Aldridge and door-to-door inquiries, no trace of him has ever been found. In 2010, police launched a Facebook appeal to generate new leads, hoping someone might recognise his photo or record detail that could help. Stephen is described as white, 5'10" in tall, of slim build with cropped brown hair and a pale complexion. His sudden disappearance was completely out of character and no confirmed sightings have ever been reported. Now to a man who has been missing for over a decade. Shafi Shaikh was 67 years old when he went missing from the West Midlands on the 8th of November 2010. There is little public information and no confirmed sightings since he vanished. There isn't a lot of information about details on his personal life and circumstances leading up to his disappearance. He was listed by the charity Missing People UK, which continues to appeal for information. Now to the year 2011. Craig Cripps, aged 32, vanished from Redditch on September the 4th, 2011. Despite multiple appeals and investigations, his whereabouts remain unknown. He just recently moved to the Batchley area and had started a new job as a barman in Birmingham city centre. He failed to show up for work on the 2nd of September and 2 days later sent an email to a friend suggesting he had gone to London where he had previously lived and worked. Since then, there have been no confirmed contact. Police issued appeals but no sightings or solid leads emerged. Craig had no known access to a vehicle and may have been using public transport. There were concerns he could be living rough or working informally in pubs. Craig is described as white, 6'2" of medium build, with brown hair and blue eyes. At the time he went missing, his hair was shaved, though he had previously worn it long. He typically wore a black cargo jacket. He has also been known by the name Sadler and originally grew up in Cornwall. Another case now where there is little to no information. Brian Wafer was 66 years old when he went missing from Wolverhampton on the 25th of July 2013. Little has been publicly shared about Brian's personal circumstances, but his disappearance was serious enough to prompt an appeal from the charity Missing People. At the time of his disappearance, Brian was considered vulnerable and in need of help, but details have not been disclosed. Now to Valentine's Day 2016. 42-year-old Sakhminder Uppal vanished from Leamington Spa under puzzling circumstances. Despite police investigation, public appeals and CCTV leads, his whereabouts remain unknown. Navi was picked up by a taxi from his home on Freshwater Grove at around 10 p.m. and dropped off near Victoria Park. That was the last confirmed sighting. He was described as 5'8" tall, of athletic build with short black hair and clean shaven at the time. He wore a black jacket, bright blue jumper, white t-shirt and tan ankle boots. Police later released a CCTV image of a man they wished to speak to in connection with the case, but no breakthrough followed. The circumstances of his disappearance on Valentine's Day added emotional weight and public intrigue, but there have been no further updates in his case. Next, another case from Walsall. Nicholas Stewart Edmunds vanished from the town centre on or around the 13th to the 18th of May 2016 at the age of 45. For 7 years his whereabouts remained unknown until a coroner officially declared him deceased in August 2023. He was last seen in Lower Hall Lane, an area where he had been sleeping rough for 2 years prior to his disappearance. He suffered from a memory-related condition, which led police to believe he might not have known he was missing. Despite extensive proof of life inquiries, no trace of him was ever found. In 2023, the Black Country Coroner's Court ruled that Nicholas likely died around the time he went missing. The coroner, Joe Lees, issued an open verdict, stating, "It is unclear from the evidence where Nicholas died or how he came by his death. Nicholas had been living in extreme hardship, sleeping in waste disposal bins and on the streets. His disappearance went largely unnoticed for years, highlighting the isolation he faced." Now a case with little to no information. On the 19th of April 2018, Jason Salt-Pearce, aged 30, went missing from Stafford, Staffordshire in West Midlands. His case remains unsolved. Despite the passage of time, his disappearance continues to weigh heavily on those who knew him. Little has been publicly shared about Jason's personal circumstances. Now another case strongly thought to be linked to 2 other disappearances. On the 15th of March 2017, Tuan Nguyen, believed to be 14 years old, went missing from Shrewsbury. His case, along with 2 other missing teenagers also from Vietnam, sparked serious concern from authorities due to their age, vulnerability and the possibility of exploitation. He was last seen at around 12 p.m. in Shrewsbury. He is described as a male, 5'7" tall with shaved hair, and was wearing a black tracksuit bottoms and a brown zip-up fleece. His disappearance occurred alongside 2 other youths, Dung Dinh and Cong Nguyen, who vanished from nearby areas within 24 hours of each other. Police fear the disappearance could be linked to each other, and they raise concerns about the possibility of trafficking. There has been no movement in any of these cases. Next, another teenager. On the 14th of July 2018, Arez Mohammed, aged 17, went missing from Worcester. His case remains unsolved. Very little has been publicly shared about his personal circumstances, but his age and the nature of disappearance raised serious concerns. He was considered vulnerable. Now to a businessman who disappeared. John Donahue, also known as John Barry, went missing from Coventry on the 8th of December 1993 when he was 51 years old. He is described as 5'8", of a medium build with hazel eyes and dark to greying hair. He had a dove tattoo on his thumb of his right hand. John left his home he shared with his wife in Coventry and was never seen again. He was self-employed and missed a scheduled meeting with a client that morning. His car, passport and driver's licence were left at home. His wife made appeals for information for over a decade before returning to Portugal, and there has been no movement in his case. Now another case in 2018. 17-year-old Daniel Wazel disappeared on the 22nd of October 2018 from Tilston, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. Daniel was just a teenager when he went missing. The circumstances of his disappearance remain unclear, and despite public appeals and an outreach from the charity Missing People, no confirmed sightings have ever been reported since that very day. Next we move to the 90s. In September 1998, Patricia Lashley, a mother of 7, known also as Pat, Jade, Vanessa or Trisha, disappeared from her flat on Horse Street in Dudley. More than 2 decades later, her case remains unsolved. Patricia was 33 years old when she vanished. She had moved to Dudley 3 years prior and was known to frequent local venues like the No Limits Club and nearby pubs. She's described as white, 5'4", slim with mousy brown hair and a distinctive Geordie accent. Patricia also had links to Newcastle, London, Wales and Scotland, raising the possibility that she may have left the Midlands entirely. She was last seen following a row with her boyfriend, and although she had gone missing for short periods before, this time she never returned. Her sister reported her missing in June 1999, nearly 9 months after her disappearance. Still staying in the 90s, on the 28th of July 1999, 15-year-old Phillip Harris left his foster home in St Eleanor's Close, intending to visit a friend in Northfield. Later that day he phoned to say he'd be staying overnight. He was never seen again. Phillip's disappearance has remained one of West Midlands' most enduring mysteries. Despite media appeals in Birmingham and Manchester where he had family ties, no confirmed sightings have ever emerged. His case has been revisited multiple times, including a forensic search of a property in St Paul's Road linked to him at the time. In 2022, West Midlands Police released an age-progressed image of what Phillip might look like as an adult, hoping to spark recognition or memory. Phillip's older sister Claire has spoken candidly about their upbringing. She described a household marked by abuse, neglect and instability. The siblings moved frequently between homes in Manchester, often under the care of a stepmother and grandmother whom Claire claims were cruel and emotionally abusive. Despite investigations in Manchester and the West Midlands where he went missing, there has been no further updates. Next to 3 cases with little to no information. On the 6th of April 2019, 38-year-old Dean Martin vanished from Birmingham. His case remains open. Despite public appeals and outreach from the charity Missing People, no confirmed sightings have been reported since. Dean's disappearance was described as unexpected. He left behind no clear explanation. On the 28th of August 2008, 39-year-old Paul Hamilton went missing from Birmingham. His disappearance has remained unsolved for over a decade. His case continues to be listed by the charity Missing People. Paul's disappearance was unexpected and unexplained. On the 17th of November 2023, 62-year-old Timothy Bayliss went missing from Evesham, a town on the edge of the West Midlands. His disappearance again was unexpected. He has no known history of going missing. In the summer of 2002, 56-year-old Michael Perkins vanished from his home in Norton. His disappearance went unreported for over a year, and to this day no trace of him has ever been found. He wasn't officially reported missing until 12 months later. At the time, he was described as 5'6", wearing glasses, having thinning blonde hair. West Midlands police have relaunched appeals many times, hoping to jog the memories of residents who lived in the area at the time. A spokesperson stated, "Sadly, no trace of Michael has ever been found, but we are hoping our renewed appeal will help jog people's memories who lived in that area." On the evening of the 3rd of December 1981, 44-year-old Douglas Mortimer left his home in Birmingham, intending to meet his friends at the Ladywood Social Club. Douglas was a familiar face in Ladywood. He worked for the Water Board and also at the Ladywood Social Club, where he was well known. At the time of his disappearance, he was described as 5'8", of a medium build, short grey hair with blue eyes. He is reported missing by his family shortly after he failed to turn up to meet friends. Despite extensive inquiries over the years, no trace of Douglas has ever been found. In August 2024, West Midlands Police issued a fresh appeal, hoping to jog the memories of those who lived in Ladywood at the time. A spokesperson stated, "Douglas was reported missing by his family in December 1981. He would be 87 years old now, and we are hoping that by issuing this appeal it may lead to someone remembering anything about his disappearance. The force continues to ask for any information, no matter how small, that could help solve the case." Next to 2010, 63-year-old Alan Murray disappeared from his home in Northfield on the 12th of April 2010. His disappearance was deeply uncharacteristic and remained unresolved for over a decade. He was last seen on the Monday evening. He lived alone and was known to frequent the Woodcock pub in Bartley Green, where he had a circle of social acquaintances. He was described as a white male, 5'6", medium build, thinning grey hair, full beard, wearing white trainers and light blue trousers. He had numerous tattoos, including a distinctive one reading Tracy and Alan inside a heart on his left hand. Alan had mobility issues and relied on a walking stick, wore glasses and required daily medication, all of which were left behind. His ex-wife Sheila Ward described him as being in a depressed state of mind, but his sudden disappearance came as a shock to the family. West Midlands Police launched extensive searches, including trawling local parkland and following up on several unconfirmed sightings. However, none led to a breakthrough. Detective Inspector Jim Foy stated, "We are doing everything we can to find Alan. There have been several unconfirmed sightings, but all leads have proved unfruitful." Alan's bank account showed no activity, heightening concerns about his well-being. His family, especially his 16-year-old son, expressed deep anguish and a longing for any sign that Alan was safe. Now a case from this year. On the 5th of February 2025, 32-year-old Ali Durrani left his family home in Sturchley, telling his mother he was going out for a walk to clear his head. It was a routine he followed most days, but this time he never came back. He was an economics graduate, known for his quiet nature and deep family ties. He lived with his parents and enjoyed daily walks and frequented the University of Birmingham Library and local coffee shops. On the day he vanished, he took only his phone and cap, leaving behind his passport charger and other essentials. His family described him as intelligent, family-orientated and gentle, not involved in nightlife or risky behaviour, close to his younger brother and deeply rooted in home life. Ali had been out of work for a year, but was actively planning to start his own business. His aunt said, "He was making plans, he wasn't disconnected from the world or super withdrawn. We had a really nice hour-long chat just 3 days before he went missing." West Midlands Police launched a missing persons investigation, but no confirmed sightings have emerged. CCTV footage and local searches have yielded no leads. The family has issued repeated public appeals, urging anyone with information to come forward. His mother said, "He said, 'I'm going out, Mummy,' and I didn't think anything of it, but he never came back." Next, another case from this year. On the 9th of May 2025, 41-year-old William Shine left his home in Harborne and boarded a train heading west. He told no one where he was going. That day he was seen travelling towards Wolverhampton, Shrewsbury, and eventually a quiet town in mid-Wales. He has not been seen since. William's disappearance has sparked concerns across the West Midlands and Wales. Described by his family as a gentle and thoughtful man, William left without warning. CCTV confirmed he boarded a train, and police believe he may have continued his journey towards Wales. His family released a statement saying, "We are really worried about William. We want to know that he is safe. If you have any information that you think may help, please do come forward. William, if you are out there and see this, please just get in touch and let us know that you are okay." And that concludes our video today. Like I said in the intro, if you have any information on any of these cases, all the contact information is in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching, and until next time.